Your engine is breaking down right now, and you're missing the warning signs. Cars that should last decades are dying early because drivers are not doing the restoration steps that actually keep an engine healthy, the steps manufacturers never want you to know. I'm about to reveal 17 fixes that clean carbon, repair hidden wear, and restore lost power. And the final one? It's a $12 trick that saved my truck at 387,000 miles. Let's begin. The airflow restoration fix. Your engine is suffocating. Most drivers think their engine is running fine because it sounds normal. But what they do not know is that the engine is slowly suffocating, losing power, mileage, and response, all because of a restriction they cannot see. Modern engines are giant air pumps. For every gallon of fuel burned, your engine needs thousands of gallons of clean, unrestricted air. When airflow drops even slightly, the computer compensates with more fuel, more timing adjustment, and more work. And the biggest silent killer is a restrictive or low-quality air filter. Cheap filters use thick paper that chokes airflow to trap dirt. High-mileage engines suffer the most because they need more air to stay efficient. Manufacturers will not tell you this because the difference is not dramatic overnight. It is a slow, invisible decline. Swap to an OEM or synthetic high-flow filter, clean the airbox, and reset the trims. Throttle response returns instantly, mileage improves, and the engine finally breathes like it is supposed to. Voltage stabilization, cleaning corroded terminals. If your car starts, you assume the battery is fine. Wrong. Modern engines rely on ultra-stable voltage for everything. Injector spray timing, ignition coils, throttle control, and hundreds of micro-corrections happening every second. When the terminals get coated in white or green corrosion, the voltage becomes unstable. The car still runs, but it runs poorly, with low idle quality, strange fuel trims, hesitation, and a feeling of lost power. Worst part, the ECU compensates for bad voltage by adding fuel or changing timing, which slowly damages sensors and burns more gas. You will never see a check engine light for this. Clean the terminals with baking soda, rinse, dry, and tighten. Then apply dielectric grease. The instant improvement shocks people. Smoother idle, stronger throttle, better miles per gallon, and fewer ghost electrical issues. This is the cheapest form of engine restoration on Earth, and it is the one almost everyone ignores. Section 3. The engine mount reset. Stop the hidden vibration damage. What most people blame on engine roughness or old age is often nothing more than collapsed engine mounts transferring vibration into the chassis. The engine itself may be perfectly healthy, but when the rubber isolators dry out or crack, every shake and pulse travels directly into the frame. This issue is so common that it is practically guaranteed in cars older than 7 to 10 years. A collapsed mount makes the entire vehicle feel worn out. Idle becomes harsh when in drive, shifting feels clunky, cabin vibration increases, and accessories begin wearing faster because they are constantly being jolted. The hidden cost goes even deeper. Excessive vibration interferes with sensors, wiring harnesses, and even fuel trims, creating symptoms that mimic ignition or transmission problems. Many owners end up replacing coils, plugs, and other parts unnecessarily when the true fix is a simple $60 to $120 mount. Replacing the main upper mount first usually delivers the biggest improvement. The transformation is immediate. The engine becomes smoother and quieter, the steering feels more solid, and the whole car regains its stability. It is not just a comfort upgrade, it protects the engine and reduces long-term mechanical stress. Number 4. The tensioner reset. stopping the silent accessory killer. That chirping or squealing noise on cold starts, most people ignore it. But that noise is the sound of your engine's entire accessory system begging for help. The serpentine belt doesn't just turn the alternator, it drives your water pump, air conditioning compressor, and power steering. When the tensioner spring weakens, which it commonly does after 60,000 to 100,000 miles, the belt slips. Slipping causes heat, glazing, and microscopic cracks. But the real damage happens to the bearings inside your alternator, idler pulleys, and even your water pump. Every slip is a shock load to those bearings. A weak tensioner can cut belt life in half and destroy an alternator in under 10,000 miles. No warning light, no code, just sudden failure. Replace the tensioner and belt together. It's one bolt. Suddenly the squeal disappears, the engine runs quieter, accessories last longer, and the entire front of the motor stops fighting itself. Your engine now turns freely, and it feels brand new again. 5. Power steering fluid detox, the forgotten hydraulics flush. If your steering groans in the morning or feels heavy in parking lots, your power steering fluid is already turning into black sludge. Hydraulic systems run at 1,000 plus pounds per square inch, and the fluid inside them gets cooked, oxygenated, and contaminated with microscopic metal shavings. Over time, this sludge clogs the internal screens in the pump and hardens the seals inside the steering rack. The result is slow steering, whining noises, leaks, and a pump that eventually burns out. Most drivers never change this fluid during their entire ownership, and that is exactly why power steering pump failures have skyrocketed. But the fix is stupidly simple. Use a turkey baster to suck out the old fluid, refill with fresh original equipment manufacturer fluid, drive for a day, and repeat 3 times. This dilution flush instantly quiets the pump, restores smooth steering, and prevents $1,000 rack failures. It is one of the biggest feel improvements you can make to an older car. 6. Moisture-loaded brake fluid, the hidden performance killer. Your brake pedal shouldn't feel mushy. If it does, you don't have a brake problem, you have a chemistry problem. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning it constantly absorbs moisture through the rubber hoses. As water builds up inside the system, your boiling point drops from 400 degrees Fahrenheit to barely above 212 degrees Fahrenheit, the boiling point of plain water. Under hard braking, that trapped water boils into steam. Steam compresses. Liquid does not. And that's why your pedal sinks, feels soft, and loses stopping power. But engine performance suffers too, because contaminated brake fluid corrodes ABS solenoids and wheel speed sensors, creating signals that interfere with traction control and fuel trims. Perform a brake fluid. Flush every 2 years. Replace the old wet fluid with clean, dry, DOT specified fluid. Instantly, the pedal firms up, stopping distance shrinks, and your ABS actually works the way it is supposed to. Your engine runs better when your brakes are healthy. Sounds crazy, but it is absolutely true. 7. The lifetime transmission fluid lie, your gearbox's silent death. Manufacturers love the word lifetime. It sounds modern, convenient, and maintenance-free. But in the automotive world, lifetime usually means until the warranty expires. Inside your transmission, the fluid is not just lubrication, it is hydraulic pressure, cooling, friction modifiers, detergents, and anti-wear chemistry all working at once. Every mile you drive breaks those additives down. Heat shears the fluid, varnish begins to form, valves start sticking, and clutch packs glaze over. By 60,000 to 80,000 miles, so-called lifetime fluid often looks like burnt syrup, and the driver has no idea a catastrophic failure is already brewing deep inside the gearbox. As the fluid degrades, the symptoms creep in slowly. Shifts become delayed, downshifts feel rough, acceleration develops a slight hesitation, engine revolutions per minute can flare unexpectedly, and gear engagement becomes inconsistent. These problems are classic signs of weakening hydraulic pressure, not worn gears. Dealers profit from this misunderstanding. They sell $4,000 to $7,000 replacement transmissions when an $80 drain and fill would have prevented the entire failure. Change your transmission fluid every 50,000 miles, even in continuously variable transmissions. The difference is dramatic. Shifts become crisp, operating temperatures drop, and component wear slows dramatically. This simple maintenance step can easily triple the lifespan of your transmission. It is one of the most powerful and most ignored longevity secrets in car ownership. 8. Differential and transfer case refresh, the forgotten gearboxes. If you drive an all-wheel drive, 4x4, or even a front-wheel drive vehicle with a rear differential, you are carrying hidden gearboxes full of thick gear oil that is silently breaking down beneath you, and most drivers never service them. Differential and transfer case fluids endure extreme pressure as metal gears mesh together, generating microscopic metal shavings every time you accelerate, tow, or climb a hill. And unlike engine oil, gear oil has no filter. Every particle stays in circulation, slowly turning the fluid into a metallic slurry that grinds away at bearings, gears, and seals. The symptoms appear gradually, so you do not notice what is happening. A faint highway whine, a dragging or heavy feeling when accelerating, worse fuel economy, a strange vibration when you let off the gas, premature bearing wear that eventually becomes a four-figure repair. We have opened differentials where the fluid looked like glitter suspended in black molasses, pure metal fallout. The fix is simple. Change your differential and transfer case oil every 40,000 to 50,000 miles. With fresh synthetic gear lube, the drivetrain immediately feels freer. Drag drops, coasting improves, miles per gallon climbs, and the gearbox runs cooler and quieter. If your car feels like it is fighting itself on the road, this neglected service is almost always the reason. Refreshing these forgotten gearboxes is like removing a hidden anchor from your engine. Number 9. The coolant electrolysis trap. Your engine is becoming a battery. Most drivers assume coolant's only job is preventing overheating, but modern engines rely on it for something even more important: stopping internal corrosion. Over time, coolant breaks down, turns acidic, and loses the corrosion inhibitors that protect the metals inside your engine. Once those additives are gone, a hidden chemical reaction begins. Your coolant becomes electrically charged. We have tested neglected coolant, reading between 0.3 and 0.7 volts, which is enough to slowly eat away aluminum, copper, steel, and even gasket material from the inside out. This electrolysis quietly destroys components long before any warning light appears. Heater cores start leaking. Radiators corrode from the seams. Water pumps fail prematurely, and microscopic pitting forms inside the engine's passageways. Even head gaskets weaken over time as the acidic coolant attacks the sealing surfaces. The engine may seem perfectly normal until the day it suddenly overheats or blows a gasket without warning. The solution is simple and inexpensive. Flush your coolant every 4 to 5 years using the exact formula specified by your manufacturer. This instantly stops electrolysis, restores proper pH balance, and renews the additives that protect your engine's internal metals. Your engine isn't dying from heat, it's dying from chemical corrosion. Fix it early, and you avoid thousands in repairs later. The PCV valve pressure cooker, the $15 part that saves your engine. This tiny valve is the most neglected component on the entire engine, and one of the most destructive when it fails. The PCV valve's job is simple. Let pressure escape from the crankcase so moisture and fuel vapor do not build up inside the engine. But when the valve clogs, and it always clogs with age, pressure builds until your engine becomes a sealed pressure cooker. Oil gets pushed past seals and gaskets. Moisture mixes with oil, forming yellow sludge. Bearings suffer. Idle roughens. Oil consumption skyrockets. Worst part? Drivers chase oil leaks, replace gaskets, even pull valve covers, while the real culprit is a $15 stuck PCV valve. Check yours. Shake it. If it does not rattle, it is dead. Replacing it restores normal pressure instantly, stops leaks, reduces sludge, and improves fuel trims. This single part has saved more high-mileage engines than any oil change ever will. Ignore it, and your engine will age at triple speed. The external fuel filter choke, starving your engine at high RPM. Many older cars and some modern diesels still use external fuel filters mounted along the frame. When these filters clog, your engine starves under load. At idle or during gentle driving, everything appears normal. But the moment you try to merge, pass, or accelerate hard, the restriction becomes deadly. A clogged filter forces the pump to work harder, overheating it and burning it out. Meanwhile, the engine runs lean under high demand, which can melt pistons, destroy catalytic converters, and cause knock. You will feel hesitation, stumbling, or weak top-end power, but there will be no warning light. Replace the external fuel filter every 30,000 miles. It is usually a $10 to $20 part that protects your $400 to $700 fuel pump and thousands of dollars of engine components. Do this, and your car suddenly pulls stronger, accelerates smoother, and stops feeling weak at high RPM. It is one of the highest horsepower per dollar repairs you can do. The mass airflow sensor blindness, when your engine loses its AIR vision. Your engine may be breathing just fine, but if the mass airflow sensor is dirty, the computer cannot see that air. A dirty mass airflow sensor is one of the most common causes of poor miles per gallon, sluggish acceleration, rough idle, and weak throttle response, and it rarely triggers a fault code. The tiny sensing wire inside the mass airflow sensor is delicate. Dust, oil vapor, or dirt insulates it, slowing its response time. The engine control unit, often called the ECU, then thinks less air is entering the engine, so it adjusts fuel incorrectly. Fuel trims drift, timing changes, power drops. A dirty mass airflow sensor can hurt fuel economy by up to 15% silently. The fix takes 30 seconds. Remove the sensor. Spray the sensing wire with a mass airflow sensor cleaner. Reinstall the sensor. Never touch the wire physically. Every time a customer complains of low miles per gallon with no codes, I check the mass airflow sensor, and 8 out of 10 times it is filthy. Cleaning it feels like waking the engine up from a coma. 13. The throttle body suffocation. The hidden reason your idle is dying. If your car idles rough, stalls when stopping, or feels like it is breathing heavy, the throttle body is usually the culprit, and 90% of drivers never check it. Over time, crankcase vapors, oil mist, and carbon coat the throttle plate with sticky black sludge. That tiny layer of gunk is enough to mess everything up. The throttle plate cannot close smoothly. Idle airflow becomes unpredictable. The computer constantly fights to stabilize RPM. Your engine feels weak at low speeds. Your lights may flicker at red lights. You think it is electrical, or the battery, or the alternator. It is carbon. Manufacturers even hide this in service bulletins because it is that common. The fix takes minutes. Remove the intake hose. Spray throttle body cleaner on a rag. Gently scrub the edges of the plate until it shines. The difference is instant, smooth idle, stronger low-end torque, no more stalling. It is like opening your engine's airway for the first time in years. 14. The spark plug gap drift, the silent power thief. Your engine might run fine, but if your spark plugs are worn, it is running fine at 70% of its true power. Spark plug wear happens microscopically. Every ignition event erodes the metal electrode until the gap grows wider. A wider gap means the ignition coil must generate more voltage to jump the distance, and that extra strain destroys coils, causes misfires under load, and quietly kills fuel efficiency. Here is the scary part. Modern computers are so good at compensating that you will not feel misfires until the engine is deep into damage. Dynamometer tests consistently show a power loss of 5 to 10 horsepower on small engines, and even more on turbo models simply from worn plugs. Replacing them every 60,000 to 90,000 miles restores instant throttle response, smoother acceleration, and better combustion. Use OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturer, brands NGK and Denso, not cheap copies. Fresh plugs equal peak ignition timing, peak efficiency, peak horsepower. It is the cheapest performance upgrade ever made. The lazy oxygen sensor, the miles per gallon killer that never triggers a warning. This is one of the biggest wallet-draining issues in high-mileage vehicles, and most people do not even know it is failing. The upstream oxygen sensor sits in exhaust at 600 degrees Fahrenheit, adjusting fuel thousands of times per minute. Over 100,000 plus miles, its response slows, its readings drift, and the engine control unit gets bad information. The result? Your car runs rich, fuel burns poorly, exhaust gets dirtier, miles per gallon drops 10 to 15% silently. And here is the kicker. A degraded oxygen sensor usually does not trigger a check engine light until it is nearly dead. Drivers replace air filters, plugs, mass airflow sensors, but fuel economy stays terrible because the computer is blindly trusting a sensor that is lying. Replace the upstream oxygen sensor with a quality Denso or NTK unit every 120,000 miles. Instantly, your miles per gallon jumps, throttle response improves, and fuel trims normalize. This single fix has saved some drivers hundreds per year in wasted fuel. 16. The fuel injector varnish problem, when your engine stops atomizing fuel. Your engine needs a fine mist to burn fuel efficiently, not droplets. But after years of heat cycles, every time you shut the engine off, the last bead of fuel cooks on the injector tip. The volatile parts evaporate, leaving behind a sticky varnish that clogs the microscopic holes. This changes the spray pattern from a perfect cone into a sad dribble. You feel it as hesitation, rough cold starts, weak acceleration, and declining fuel economy. But here is the scary part. It also creates hot spots inside the cylinders. Those hot spots can melt pistons on turbo engines or on GDI, gasoline direct injection, engines. You do not always need new injectors, you need chemistry. A high PE, a cleaner, brands like Techron and Redline SI1, dissolves that varnish inside the injector while you drive. Use it once every oil change, it restores power, fixes idle, and protects your pistons from heat damage. This alone can make an engine feel 5 years younger. Most shops never mention it because it keeps cars alive instead of selling new ones. 17. The $12 engine ritual that makes any engine run like new. This is the step that keeps my truck alive at 387,000 miles, with perfect compression, a glass-smooth idle, clean internals, and 0 major repairs. It is a single monthly ritual that does more for engine longevity than oil changes, additives, or sensor replacements, and it costs $12. It is called the PCV Flush and Detergent Oil Top Off, a technique used by old-school mechanics, high-mileage taxi fleets in Japan, and master technicians who know how to make engines last forever. Almost nobody in the West even knows it exists. The process is simple. Once a month, pour half a quart of high-detergent conventional oil, Shell Rotella, Chevron Delo, Mobil Delvac, into your engine when you are approaching your next oil change. These oils are designed for diesel engines and contain extremely powerful detergent packs that clean places normal oil and additives cannot reach. After adding it, idle the engine for 20 minutes or take a gentle 20 to 30-mile drive. Inside the engine, the change is dramatic. Sticky carbon softens and breaks loose. Varnish around piston rings begins to dissolve. Lifters quiet down. Oil passages unclog. PCV sludge melts away. Blow-by decreases and compression stabilizes. Cold starts smooth out. Fuel economy rises. These detergents penetrate deep into ring lands, lifters, timing components, and oil galleries, areas most cleaners never touch. Once the short run is complete, perform your regular oil change. What drains out looks like black coffee mixed with tar, years of internal buildup leaving the engine. Repeat this once a month or even every other month, and your engine ages at a fraction of the normal rate. It is the closest thing to reversing engine wear without tearing the engine apart. This is the $12 secret manufacturers will never tell you, because engines that stay clean inside do not break. Do this ritual consistently, and your engine will feel younger every month, not older. If you want the full list of hidden maintenance shortcuts that manufacturers hate, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment telling me your mileage. I'll show you the next trick that can double your engine's lifespan, and it's even easier than this one.